Thank you, Father, for the day, and thank you for an opportunity to have a wonderful exchange, a wonderful conversation with your Kadine Cooper.
Mhm.
It's been such a gift to get to know Kadine, and I just so appreciate that. Audience, as always, thank you so much for being here, being open-minded, curious, ready to learn, ready
Mhm.
to spread the good word when we have the opportunity to speak to somebody that could help you or someone else. And I'm so thrilled that Kadine is with us here today. She wears many hats, as I do, literally and figuratively. And, you know, she is an executive coach. She works with top performing leaders. She is, I love this, an experienced architect and facilitator. I mean, very cool, right? Published writer, she's a speaker. She loves to educate. She loves sharing of stories. And I'm just so excited for you to be here. Thank you for your time today, Kadine.
Oh, Carol, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Oh my goodness. So I want the audience to know, I kind of want to dive in to two questions about what you do, Kadine. And
Sure.
I want to just dive in. First question, little bit about you, how you
Mm,
got here, why you do what you do.
okay. So, how I got here, I was in HR for about 20 years, and I would say 20. So, I quit my job in 2019, Carol, but from the outside, it looks like it was abrupt and all of a sudden.
Yeah.
But I went on my own personal development journey, I would say about 5 to 10 years prior to that, because I started to feel like my morals and my values were not aligned with the organization that I was with.
Mm,
And so going on that journey, 2019 came around and I was like, this still it doesn't feel right. Like this feeling wasn't going away. So I quit my job and unbeknownst to me to start my own practice. But what started it was I met an amazing coach because I always thought I would work for someone. But I
hmm
met an amazing coach and he was like, "You have how many years experience?" He goes, "Go out there and do this on your own. Go help people." And I was just like, "What do you mean?" Like I have an HR background, a fashion background, um, visual artist, but I've never thought about starting my own business. So that's how I got here and started. And how I help people is I work with, as you mentioned, senior corporate executives who are incredibly capable, but that overfunction. And this is because I had that experience, right? We often overfunction. So I help them to shift from that reactive leadership to more calm, strategic influence, but leading from a place of alignment. So the sustainability piece is that's my focus because leadership sustainability is because leaders tend to identify with a misaligned culture performance, and that's when things suffer, is when you're operating out of a place of alignment.
mm,
So I help them to find their balance and their core and lean into more of their values, if that makes sense. So for myself, it's faith, family, fun, freedom, and flexibility. So those are my 5 F's. So I help them to find theirs and to lead from that place of compassion, of empathy. We all drink the corporate Kool-Aid for those of us that worked in corporate, and you can lose yourself. So it's getting them back to the basics of just human being to human being. This person is not just a butt in the seat. They're a human being.
that's right. Let's do that again. Faith, family, fun,
Freedom and flexibility.
freedom, and flexibility. Wow. I'll tell you what, first of all, if you're not having fun, you're not going to last very long.
Exactly.
I mean, really and truly. And I love faith comes first. I think
Yep.
I mentioned it first, but that it comes first because if we ground there, we can really get aligned.
Yeah,
And then if
exactly.
we prioritize, I love it. It kind of reminds me of the Marines simplify, God, and well, God, country, family, I think is the way the amazing Marines do it. But anyway,
Hmm.
I love that because if we ground in our faith and we're thinking of our families
Hmm.
and we're able to have fun, so now it's joy, others, joy in Him, right? Uh,
Yes.
have fun. I think
Yeah.
just freedom. we now have a freedom to be ourselves.
Exactly.
And then we all need to be flexible because if we're not, there are going to be some serious situations
Hmm.
because, everything ebbs and flows and all the things. So,
Life.
I mean, just life, right?
Yeah.
Let me ask you something because we talked a little pre-show about sustainability
Hmm.
as a top performer, as
Hmm.
someone who is leading themselves, leading a team. They certainly
Hmm.
have to lead themselves first
100%.
because you certainly can't lead, as the saying goes, don't you need to be doing what I'm doing, not what I'm saying.
Mhm.
I mean, that's what's really
Exactly.
happening.
Exactly.
People, we can talk all day long. Somebody said one time, uh, be a witness to God and sometimes use words.
Be a witness to God and sometimes use words.
I,
That amazing.
I mean, I so appreciate when I heard that because it's the truth. It's really
Hmm.
about what are we doing, right? Where are we showing up? So, how do you help these top performers sustain that level of energy of leading oneself while they're leading a team?
Well, to what you just shared, just to add on to it, it starts with the self-leadership. If you're not leading yourself, you can't lead others, right? And how are you showing up currently? So it's doing an assessment as to what's serving them. There's an exercise that I like to do even from the beginning. What's serving you really, really well? Because you want to continue those habits and those rituals. And what's not? Those are the things that we want to stop doing and leave in the rearview mirror, right? So it's really getting to them to identify, be self-aware as to how am I showing up and what is the identity how am I modeling that identity currently? What needs to shift or change? So sometimes I'll do some embodiment work, sometimes I'll do visualization, having them to be see who they are becoming or who they have the opportunity to become once they
Hmm.
become self-aware, and then leaning into what is really important to you as a
Hmm.
leader. What's important to you? How are you showing up?
Hmm. That self-awareness number, I mean, to be a leader, if you're leading yourself only, you have to become self-aware.
Yes.
And what you're saying is, or what I'm hearing, and please let me know if I'm hearing this correctly, is you're saying, let's surrender at the door
Mm,
what's not working.
hmm.
Just surrender. You can pick it up on the way out.
Yep. If you choose to.
Yeah, just that's right. But surrender, I'm on a lifelong journey of surrender, I believe. But if we surrender what's not serving us, we are then able, free to lead others because when we leave that part, are we actually opening up to lead people to show up how they need to show up
Hmm.
and be themselves, not like try to take over what they're doing, just allow them to become leaders?
Exactly. Give them space to deliver, is what I say, right? Give them space to deliver. That's where sometimes you find individuals will micromanage, and that's the trusting and not feeling comfortable delegating to their team. But I always say, you hire, this is my HR hat now. I always say, you hired this person to do a job. Trust that they're going to do the job. Be there as a resource for them. Like as a leader, you're no longer that individual contributor. You're there to lead, to guide, and to mentor. That's your role, and to help others shine. Because when they shine, you shine.
So many leaders talk about, I love that you're bringing up delegation.
Mm.
Should there be, and I don't want to should everybody to death, but here's this leader, here's this trusted employee, partner, whomever that needs
Hmm.
to do that wants to do their part. And this
Hmm.
leader, and let's say it's the first time for this person, the employee, the trusted partner, whomever it is, first time for them to do something. How often do you see leaders saying, well, let me just show you how to do it? And they do it. They don't let the person drive, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. They drive for
Yeah.
them and think that they've learned. Is there
The
a,
helicopter leadership.
ah, I'm glad there's a name.
Yeah. Well, we've heard of helicopter parent. I've
Oh,
just
yeah.
helicopter leadership. Yeah, we're not giving people an opportunity to learn. And I think you're doing them such a disservice by
Do,
not allowing them to spread their wings and to see what they're capable of.
do you see a lot of that going on?
I do. I do. And here's the thing. I always say, Carol, we're all a 10 at something, but how can you tap into what that person's capable of or what they're a 10 at if you don't allow it to be witnessed,
Well,
right?
not only, I feel like not only, and I'll say the word we, because I'm certainly guilty of this in my past,
We all are.
but not only are we not letting this person step into their power and start becoming a leader and learn and do what they've been hired to do or what you've partnered with them to do, we're also limiting as leaders
Mm-hmm.
our own growth because we
Yeah.
don't have room to grow if we're doing everybody's jobs.
Yeah. The other thing that I'll add to it is if you have time to do my job, who's doing your job?
That's right.
Right? If you have so much time to micromanage what I'm doing, how are you doing your job and your role in
Oh my
fulfilling your
gosh,
duty?
I'm so guilty in the past. Thank you, Father. I have surrendered it. But I was a micromanager and it was miserable. I think it was
Mhm.
miserable not just for me, but I think it's the people you're micromanaging are like, I do not want
Yeah.
to work for a micromanager.
No, no one
Oh
does.
gosh, if anyone listening, if we used to work together and I was that, please forgive me. Because it's miserable, it's annoying,
Hmm.
and it's, you know, it doesn't let anybody grow. There's no trust. And how can you have a leadership? How, as a leader, can you completely step outside of trust?
Right. Yeah. I mean, again, it goes back to the self-awareness too, right? And I think if you are comfortable, as I'm going to say, checking yourself or having someone that's close to you check you, you can discover those habits and patterns in yourself a lot sooner so that you don't continue leading from that place of, I don't know, like a sense of urgency or just reacting or not trusting,
I think
your
it's the
team and
lack
your
of
peers.
trust.
Yeah.
Let me ask
And
you a question. So take us through, you've come to our company, right? And you're going to facilitate all of us in this growth. How do you do it? Where do you start?
so the first thing is to have a conversation to identify what is really going on in the company or the culture. Is it just one individual? Is it a bunch of individuals? Is it that there's lack of cohesion? Is it team building? Like, what is the challenge that they're experiencing? And then I'll co-create something. So I've always got things in my tool house, my toolkit, but we can co-create something because every individual and organization is unique.
Hmm.
So the first thing that I usually do is I mean, we all know icebreakers, but I get people in a position where they're either dancing or they're laughing before we have tough conversations,
Fabulous.
right? Because it's like the gloves are off, the masks are off, you're laughing, you're having fun, and that's where the experience comes in, right? Like I'm not just a talking head. Because I remember being corporate and having someone come in and I was just sitting there and I'm just like, oh my gosh, when is this going to be over?
Dull.
Right? No one enjoys that. So I know what that feels like. And whether it's virtual or in person, Carol, I like to create that energy and that vibe for people to get them kind of out of their head and into their body, right? And
Hmm.
I always start by even asking, who are you being while you're here? Are you being someone that's like, oh, they told me I have to be here, so I'm just going to check this box? Or are you actually being someone that's like, oh, I'm curious, I'm interested to learn and to see what this Kadine has to say? What am I
Right.
going to learn from her?
Right.
Right?
Right.
Be open.
And
And
I
then
love that.
I can lead them from there.
Yeah. I love that you get into the physical and the emotional
Mhm.
before it's in this interactive and or instructional place that
Mhm.
where they're going to learn. That's huge. Well, I love that. What is your like what's the cream of the crop for you? Where do you really enjoy, what type, is there a type of company? Is there a number of, employees, 5, 10, 100, whatever that is? Tell us how you like to do this because I know the audience, they're so awesome. I want them to envision, is this a space I'm in that I need,
Yeah.
that my company needs, or do I know somebody? Tell us a little bit more about your favorite, your
Mm.
niche, if you will.
So I would say my favorite, and I don't like to call favorites, but those that are in the service industry because I
Uh-huh.
like frontliners because I don't feel like they get enough love. They don't get enough loved on them, poured
Mhm.
into them, right? They're always giving and pouring into others. So prime example, and I was facilitating for, and I'm surprised that I even did this for 100 people.
Wow.
And I think I definitely needed a co-facilitator, but that's why I usually wear running shoes when I'm facilitating.
I
It's
love
not
that.
about me being, I want to be comfortable so that I can run around the room and
Well, you have
engage
to
with
dance.
everyone, right?
You're going to
Yeah,
be
and into
dancing.
your moment.
Yes.
So, yeah, I would say definitely those that are of service to others, because I don't feel like they get loved on enough.
Wow. So it's not your favorite, but it's where you feel like you can really
Yeah,
pour into a group.
yeah, I think so.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I love that, and I agree with that. I think that who comes to mind immediately for me are mothers.
Yeah.
You know, they're always giving, 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 and
Mm,
it's hard to get moms to say, "Whoa, I've got to nourish myself first."
yeah.
So, you pour into them ways that they can take care of themselves as they're serving.
Hmm.
It's how they form teams so that their collaboration working together serves everyone else more efficiently and effectively so that there's a little more space for themselves.
Exactly. It's that, and it depends on the topic as well, too. So I'm facilitating on Thursday of next week, and it's more about microaggression and unconscious biases because there's an issue or situation that's happening in that company, right? So I'll still give the same experience, but
Yes.
there's a lens and a focus that I'm trying to bring awareness to that there is something going on here in your company or your culture. I'm just going to shine a light on it. Um, but
I
so it
love
could
that.
be, yeah, it could be anything. Just thinking of others that I've done. Emotional intelligence, psychological safety, talks on that, change with confidence.
Wow.
And I have such an eclectic background, Carol. So I've worked in um, consumer packaged goods. I've worked in finance, marketing, sales. Like I've supported very diverse groups. So that's what when you're asking me the question, I'm like, which is my favorite? It's kind of
No,
hard to say, right?
I love that because as you were going through these different phases and professions, and to fashion industry as well, as you were,
Hmm.
who knew? I asked this, you never know what you're preparing for.
No.
But I love that because when you go into let's say you're working with 100 people without a co-facilitator,
Hmm.
the diversification of those you are giving to and
Right.
working with, that's a lot of diversity, especially in these
Hmm.
days. And I love that. And I love that you say you're bringing something that's going on into the light, which all of a sudden, if it's in the light, it's hardly a big deal anymore. I think
Right.
people make things bigger than they are because they act like it's a secret.
Hmm.
It's not a
We're
secret.
trying to keep it
Something's
a secret. They're
changing.
kind of trying to brush it under the rug, pretend it's not happening when it actually is happening and causing harm.
Wow. Do
Yeah.
you see, this is random, but I spoke to this lady earlier today. I'd love for you all to visit, but she is an expert on bullying. Do you
Okay.
see bullying within
Oh, yes.
offices? You do,
Oh,
don't you?
100%. Yeah. Workplace bullies. It's a thing.
It's
I've
a
experienced
thing.
it and it's a thing. Yeah.
That's
100%.
terrible.
It is horrible because here's the thing. This is someone's livelihood. Like, do people just wake up in the morning and think, I'm going to make your day miserable?
Mhm.
right? Like this is someone's livelihood, and to make them feel unsafe or uncomfortable, it's not fair.
No, I always have always felt like that has to come from a place of a reflection of how this person feels that they would act like that. I mean, it's just so weird.
Yeah, I agree.
I hate
I
that. I hate that for the people doing it, and I certainly hate it for the
For
people that
those on
are being
receiving.
bullied.
Hmm.
Call out, call out. So, Katie, what what do you really want the audience to
Mm.
take away from this conversation as we introduce you as a person that they can reach out to, whether they are self-employed, an
Mhm.
entrepreneur who needs help in order maybe even to help collaborate with other entrepreneurs,
For sure.
all the way up to, let's say it's 100 people, if it's just you. What do you want people to know? Tell them when they should know to reach out to you or someone that does what you do.
Well, I like to say that I'm a holistic coach. And that's because everyone's a unique human being. You're not a box, a triangle, or a square. So if you feel that you're in a position or your company's in a position where you're feeling stuck or stagnant, or there is some friction or tension there, that's when I'm brought in a lot to help to kind of because I have no skin in the game, really, and I'm non-biased. So I hold that safe space and container for individuals, almost like a mediator,
Mm.
right? And also as an individual, when I'm coaching them, it's also to shine a light on your greatness, for you to see how amazing you are. So
And
it could be
surrender what's not serving you, just like we started
surrender
this
what's not serving you.
at the door and work in that space where you shine.
Yeah. So it's either coaching, facilitating, speaking, and helping others to just discover. I'm kind of getting tired of the word authentic. So I usually say your real and ideal version of your best self,
Uh-huh.
helping individuals to lean more into that and stop masking or compartmentalizing parts of themselves because that was me. And now I'm just Kadine.
I love
And there's no better
it.
person to be than you, right?
Kadine, that y'all and the
You
audience that
say
are
Kadine.
laughing.
Listen, people in my family say Kadine Carroll. It's
I never pronounce anything correctly. I apologize.
oh,
Kadine is
don't
so pretty.
apologize.
Very
I
cool.
have an aunt that calls me Kadine.
Oh, good. That makes me feel, thank you for that
So
grace.
that's what I was saying. People in my family say, I say Kadine, but people say Kadine. It's all good.
I love it. But so what you offer different types of, whether you call it a package, whatever it is, you could be invited in just to come speak to the group.
Yes.
You could come in, do an assessment, have
Mm-hmm.
individual conversations, then do small groups, then large group, then have people dance and sing,
You
and then
could.
have them interact in these ice breaking and beyond activities. And the
Mm-hmm.
goal of doing this is to allow people to work together safely and allow one another
Exactly.
to be vulnerable, to ask questions. It's okay if you don't know how to do something.
Right. Exactly. You got it. You got
Well,
it.
I love it so much. And I think every company, even if they're not even stuck just yet, but if
Mm-hmm.
they're if they're growing
You're
and moving,
growing.
it's a preventative also.
Exactly. Yes.
It's like, let's not call the For She's Needed group. Let's get Kadine. Let's have her come in to prevent getting stuck.
Yeah. Exactly.
I
Yeah.
love
'Cause
it.
operating from a place that's more not reactive, right? Because when you act from a place of reactive, it's like, what could we have done before?
Yeah.
Because the signs are there, the flags are there, they're waving, but sometimes we ignore them until it's too
Oh,
late.
oh, my kiddos, one of my precious girls, I have a wonderful son and these beautiful young girls. And when one of them was much younger, I won't say which, but I think this happens in everyone's life, in
Hmm.
my life and everybody's lives. She said, I didn't want to talk about the red flags. It was in a relationship.
Yeah.
They were there. And so the greatest thing that happened from this particular lesson was that she said, I have learned the hard way. When a red flag comes out, address it.
Yes. Yes. And you're teaching people how to treat you. That
Yeah,
sometimes we have to learn hard lessons. Like we teach people how to treat us and how not to treat us.
that's right. I love that you said that. Clearly, I love self-development. And there was this wonderful speaker, and she said, when someone says they're sorry,
Mm.
honor them and honor yourself by saying thank you. That means a lot.
Hmm.
Don't say, oh, it doesn't matter.
Mm-mm.
You've just told them apologizing doesn't matter, them stepping out there to be nice doesn't matter, and that you don't matter and you don't deserve the apology.
Right. Exactly.
And I would think most people don't even know that.
Hmm. I think because some of us are just operating on autopilot, Carol. Like we just operate, we're just coasting through the day, coasting through life sometimes. But to your point, even when someone gifts you something or gives you a compliment and you're just like, oh, this is nothing,
Yeah.
instead of saying just thank you. Because here's the thing too, you could be blocking their blessing,
Yes.
right? So
Yes.
receive. It's okay to receive.
I think we're better givers if we practice being receivers. Pretty good
Yes, agreed.
receivers, right?
Hmm.
I appreciate you so much. I appreciate what you do so much because in the workplace, we're there. If you work full time, and much of our audience does, or their kiddos do, or their spouses do, or
Hmm.
their partners do, it's 75% of our time.
Yeah.
And who can just go home and act like none of that took place? So it's so important that we nourish and nurture ourselves
Hmm.
in every environment that we choose to be in.
Yeah, it's important. How you show up is so important. And I think that's one of the things that I feel like I'm almost on a mission to do because I was focusing a lot on, one-to-one and working with women and males, but mainly women, one-on-one. But what I found is it's so hard to hear all of the things that are going on and not be able to support with it. So I was like, you know what? If you can put me in the organization,
That's right.
I can make more of a difference and an impact there versus my coaching you one on one to change yourself. Meanwhile, the others aren't changing.
Yes. And what a great, I love that this is what you do evolved from 20 years in HR
Hmm.
because having been in HR, how important and how great the need is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So y'all listen again, reach out individually or go to your HR person if you have one and say, just met on the podcast. I've just met this lovely facilitator that can come in and speak to us or get involved as much as possible. You deserve it. Your company deserves it.
Yeah.
Your working, your peers deserve it. And so honor yourselves and make that call, get this connection going. I so appreciate you, Kadine.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
And thank you for your time and for what you do.
It's a pleasure, Carol. Honestly, it's a pleasure. I just want to do more of it. I'm at a place where I'm just like, let's go. There is so much hurt right now
Mm.
in the world. I just want to, if I can just shine a light and just help even one person to think differently or to show up differently, then I feel good.
It's really cool. Mother Teresa, I just read, I love everything she said, she said to really serve someone, you have no expectation
Hmm.
for anything in return.
Yeah.
And I think that there's a skepticism that goes on in the world for people that coach and help and lead that there's this huge expectation and that, oh,
Yeah.
and that's not it. There,
Mm-mm.
and I know my audience, our audience, certainly not mine, knows this. That's a belief that's just not, yes, let's go with the 80/20 rule. I will say
Mm-hmm.
there's 20% of that that goes on.
Of
Um,
course.
However, I'm telling y'all, you're hearing from and meeting a lady that loves to serve. So
Yeah,
call her
definitely.
up, follow her up, share about her, and have a wonderful rest of your week. Thank you, Father. Thank you, audience. Hook 'em.